Hey and welcome to the Ableton Certified Trainers UK and Ireland YouTube channel. My name is Anna and I'm an Ableton Certified Trainer. This is the second episode of our collaborative video series with my friend and fellow certified trainer, Simone. In these videos, we are collaborating on a track while we're showcasing some of Live 11's new features. If you haven't seen the first episode yet, you can find the link in the description of this video below. Otherwise, let's get cracking with the second episode. Enjoy.
In this video, we'll have a closer look at the brand new probability feature. The bottom editor now displays the probability as well as the velocity. They can be both hide or shown by clicking on the relative toggle button. We'll also apply randomization activities to both these elements. I can switch between those. I will also take advantage of the new option velocity range. So let's create a MIDI clip and resize the length of it as 1 bar. And I'm gonna start using the normal velocity editor, and I'll draw a quick drum programming here. The first parameter I'm going to tweak is the velocity range, which allows the user to set a positive or negative value from your starting point as a velocity. And over time, that element will be triggered with different dynamic levels within the set range. Let's repeat the process by adding a ghost note here. And let's set a negative velocity range value to ensure that the third triggerings will be either as loud or quieter than this. I'm now going to create a hi-hat pattern. Let's select the note and add a tiny bit of velocity range from my velocity starting point. Now let's randomize those two other notes. You can see how by increasing the number on each side, the changes get more evident. Remember that you have a range from 1 till 127. Let me reverse the velocity range to negative. Okay, what I'm going to do next is a bit more extreme, and I'm shortening the hi-hat notes and I'm doubling the pattern essentially. And although the pattern is nice, it's perhaps a little bit too intrusive. So if I swap to the probability menu, note probability will set the likelihood in a percentage range that a given note will actually play. And Live adds a little black triangle in the top left corner of the notes affected by the probability when it's set to anything other than 100%. The same principle can be applied to harmonic parts, like for example here, I have doubled my chord progression, and you can see inside the probability of my note is set at 87%, which means they've got a high probability to be triggered, but very often you might gonna listen not a triad but a quadriad or perhaps just an interval. And the same approach has been developed on the other chord progression in a specular way. So although the chords are the same, they kind of change over time their voicing. You can see how adding velocity and probability changes to your loop can bring you to unpredictable results. In the following video, I would love to discuss the rack improvement. For example, the option to take a snapshot of your settings for a much faster and effective workflow. I hope you liked it. See you next.
Alright, so here are all the vocals recorded and comped, and I've also got the drums now, so let's check them out.
I wish I could have anything to say to you. Regrets, I didn't even run away when my instincts were warning. This is the time for you and I. Oh, my love is long gone. Barely sleep last night, hoping you alright, knowing you never be mine.
So the first thing we're going to look at is track linking. And if we right click, control click, we can choose link tracks. And now we are able to arm the tracks together and do certain editing to them. So we don't need to hold down shift. We don't need to apply these edits to the clips one by one. We can also apply fades to the linked tracks together. Being able to link tracks, apply editing, and arm all these linked tracks together is particularly useful, for example, for drum recordings when we're multi-tracking with quite a few microphones and recording a few tracks simultaneously. But as we can see, it's really handy for editing multiple vocal layers as well. Now I'm going ahead and consolidating all the clips that I've selected just to have them a bit easier to manage. I'm also just trimming these clips back together. We can also go ahead and change the warp settings for the selection of clips. We can transpose the clips and then also edit the formants and the envelopes, which will be affecting both of the clips within the linked tracks.
To say to you, to say to you.
And we are also able to add warp markers. We are able to move the warp markers, move the transients, the waveform within the clips. This is super handy and you can save loads of times when you're trying to change the phrasing or the timing of multiple vocal layers, or again, if you are editing multi-track drums and you're trying to warp, move the transients, quantize all the drum tracks together. Okay, so let's move on to start processing and adding creative effects to the vocals. As you might have picked up already, now all the audio effects are categorized, so it's easier to find the right effects. So I'm using the phaser flanger, but I'm particularly interested here in the doubler option. This device has merged together the well-known phaser and flanger devices with the addition of the doubler. It helps us create this double-tracked effect by applying time-modulated delay signals. Let's adjust how much effect is being currently applied by the drive at control. Let's also set the amount of LFO being applied by the amount control. Adjust the feedback as well. And also, let's add some warmth, which is some distortion and filtering applied to the sound. Now we're going to check out the results, so I'm going to be bypassing and activating the device while we're playing back.
To say to you, regrets, I didn't even run away when my instincts were warning. I wish I could have anything to say to you. Regrets, I didn't even run away when my instincts were warning.
So the next effect that we're going to take a look at is the chorus assemble. Again, the already existing chorus device got a facelift and we got a bit more spice in it. We're going to use the chorus section of the song to demonstrate what the device does. So the Assemble mode uses 3 parallel time-modulated delay to create the chorus and flanging effect. The Vibrato mode will give some pitch variations to the signal. Let's quickly adjust the feedback of the output of the signal and the amount of the LF that is being applied, as well as the output of the device. And also let's just play with dry wave control, how much effect is being applied. And there's some warmth by some distortion and filtering to the signal.
This is the time, no more you and I. Oh, my love is long gone. Many sleepless nights, hoping you are right.
And we're just gonna bypass the device to hear the difference.
Never be mine. This is the time, no more you and I. Oh, my love is long gone. Many sleepless nights, hoping you are right. Knowing you never be.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. We really hope you enjoyed the video. If you're interested in what Simone and I are getting up to with our music, in education, you can find links to our work in the description of this video below. See you soon.